All right, guys, not gonna lie, I was still depressed about the YouTube thing, but it's time to lock in. And guess what, guys? I was trying to lock in, but the devs have not posted any events, so we don't know what kind of updates we're about to get. So today I'm gonna be going over one of my favorite viewer suggestions. So we're gonna be going over the possibility of new evolutions being added in the game. So this is a feature that I think could be really cool, and watch the whole video because there is a lot of ways this could go. Also, make sure you guys smash the like button. At 250 likes, I'm gonna be giving away a free 10x game speed. So comment down below your Roblox username, subscribe if you guys want this free 10x. All right, so what could evolutions be? So if you guys don't know, in this game, there are so many units that are absolute trash. And what every game basically does is they add evolution. So I'm gonna throw it back to my OG game, ASTD. And if you guys don't know, I have an OG channel. Like, we're talking from back in the days, man, like back in the freaking 2019, jeez. And if you guys want to support me, you guys can sub to my old OG channel. We're trying to get it to 1 million, man. All right, so smash that subscribe button. It's called Blam Spot. I'm gonna collaborate with it on this video. If you guys want to help me out, we're on the road to 1 million there. So in that game, I used to play a classic game called ASTD, and this could be possibly one way they could do evolutions. Now, there's a lot of cool ideas for evolutions. And I'll show you guys how this one works. So this was ASTDX, so not the OG, but you know, the remake of the OG. And this is kind of what evolutions would look like. So you collect the unit and some crafting items, and you could get like an actual unit out of that that's even stronger. So basically, how that would work, in theory, in this version of evolutions, now there's another version I'm more excited about, I'll talk about that in a second, is you could go from basically a common unit like Spongebob Common, and you could evolve him into maybe, you know, a different version of SpongeBob, maybe SpongeBob Legendary, then SpongeBob Mythic. And then you could go to SpongeBob GG Rock, which should be a limited unit. I don't know why it's still a Mythic, but you know, it is what it is. And then maybe all the way at the end, it would end up as like an exotic or a prismatic. So that is one cool way they could do evolutions. Now, I was talking to somebody in my comments, and I have a few ideas of how I could like evolutions to go. Now, first up, in this game, if you don't know, whenever you upgrade a unit, it doesn't change the attack, VFX, or anything. And that is unlike almost every other game on the platform. When you upgrade units in other games, it changes their attacks and stuff. So what I think could be really cool for these evolution units, and I'll give you kind of a little bit of an example from my thing. So for example, evolution of him, SpongeBob, every time it would evolve, it could change into a new unit. And this would actually happen in game. So for example, in game, you can spend money to upgrade SpongeBob, and it would end up being as strong as a SpongeBoy, etc. And the cool thing about this for the devs is it would absolutely require no work from the devs. Like, the devs wouldn't have to do anything different. All they would have to do is like add it in, you know? So I think this could be a cool option for the devs if they don't want to put in a lot of work. They could put in the evolution unit, and they could have a unit that goes all the way from nothing to something, and it would just cost you money. This could be a cool way for them to balance the game. Now, I was also thinking a lot about evolutions, and I have another idea that they could do. I actually have two more ideas, and these are from the Granddaddy game. Comment down below if you guys know what I'm talking about. The Granddaddy OG game of all tower defenses. Like, this is the game. Bloons tower defense. All right. Now, I'm gonna be honest, guys. There's a lot of different Bloons. I started with Bloons TD4. All right, that's my game, but Bloons TD6, etc. And in Bloons, they have this thing called Upgrade Pass. Now, this could be a very cool feature for these units. And basically what these Upgrade Pass... Oh my gosh, can I just please click on a button, man? Google, man. What is going on with Google today? Absolute dog water. All right, that's a YouTube video thumbnail, but I don't want to YouTube... What's all YouTube thumbnails? Oh my gosh. I don't want a YouTube thumbnail. I want a picture of the Upgrade Pass, dang it. So here we go, guys. For example, these are kind of how the Upgrade Pass work. Now, a cool thing about how Bloons works is you can have 2 Upgrade Pass at a time up until a certain point. So you could go in different directions. So what that means is your normal SpongeBob could go from like a normal SpongeBob to, it could go to GG Rock. It could go from a normal SpongeBob to SpongeBoy or Caveman or Big Guy. All right, these could all be options, and each one could have unique, etc. things. Now, obviously, this would require a little bit more work from the devs, but this could be an absolutely crazy feature. And honestly, no other tower defense game that I know of has this kind of quality. The only thing that comes close is TDS's upgrade paths. All right, and I'm gonna be honest, they're nowhere as near as detailed as this. Now, the nice thing is if they are adding this much detail to the game, it's going to allow them to be able to add less units. And what that means is we're not going to have the crazy situation like we have now, where we have a bajillion units and half of them are worthless. If you do this upgrade path correctly, you can have less units, but still have the same amount of content. All right, because each tower is effectively 3 towers in one. So that could be cool. Also, in Bloons, they have something called Bloons Heroes. Now, heroes could be a cool idea for the evolution. All right, we'll take Gwendolyn, for example, one of the OG heroes. Basically how these work is whenever they get upgraded or leveled, they get more stronger and more cool powers. This could work the same way. So you could have an upgrade on Spongebob and he would get more and more powerful over time. And the thing about these guys is they usually only change slightly and then they still have a couple forms. So I think that could be a really cool idea for an addition to that game. All right, because we're really trying to figure out ways for this game to really differentiate itself and add more content, more quality gameplay. So I think copying some sort of Bloons TD hero could be kind of cool. And the thing about heroes is it could add a lot of different things for the game. Like they could have a hero slot. I remember in the OG game, guys, ASD leaders had the leader slot, and the leader slot would boost your units. So I don't know if there's a picture of the leader slot in the inventory, but there used to be like a whole meta for which leader you had equipped, etc. And there's like a dedicated leader slot in your inventory, and that would give your whole team boost. So that could be a cool feature. You could have, honestly, I think a cool idea with it to be to start off with 3 heroes. All right, and the 3 heroes could be all of the common units. Like all of these could in fact be heroes, like all the mainline units. You could have Squidward hero, you could have Spongebob hero, you could have Patrick hero. Like these could all be good ideas for heroes, and they could give your teams buffed based on what you want them to be. Like maybe you could have a support hero, you could have a this hero, you could have a that hero. And that kind of also leans into my other thoughts on the game, and that is they should do more with like maybe like a class-based structure, kind of like Valorant. Like right now you just equip the best units and you just kind of throw them on your team. But I think it could be a cool idea for them to have like almost like you want to build your entire loadout based on a certain class. Like maybe you could have a splash damage type AoE loadout. You could have a full AoE type AoE loadout. And you would want to kind of match all of those units together so you have a full AoE team, and that would give you a little bit of a buff, making your full AoE units more strong. Same thing with single target. This could be like a boss killer loadout where it would be super OP against bosses, but not as good against other things. Like there's a lot of ways you could go with that. And I think the heroes evolution type units could be a big part of that. Now, what I don't want them to add is just those standard evolutions that just require a ton of time to grind, kind of like crafting type evolutions. I'm not a big fan of those. I want them to add something new and different to the game. And that's why I kind of like the idea of upgrade pass for the heroes, or just heroes in general. I think it could be a pretty cool little addition to the game. So comment down below, guys, what do you think of evolutions and how should they work? And what other cool ideas do you have for SpongeBob Tower Defense? And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.